Hello everyone, I am Martha and I will be hosting this webinar with Ben, who is our lecturers. Hi Ben.
Hello.
During this webinar, Ben will show you how to create a responsive website, and I will talk with you about our courses because that's why I am here. And to allow a couple of minutes for the people who haven't joined us yet, I will start by telling you about our courses a little bit more and about our school. Is this right for you? Okay, so one more thing. If you have any questions to our courses, feel free to post them on our chat and I will try to relay them after our webinar or at the end and during. Okay, our IT Academy is one of the top schools in the world, and this is international school. Okay, we are IT Academy. Most of our courses are about programming. We provide our classes in 6 countries, but the rest of the world is of course within our, thanks to our online courses. So just wait for us. We've been running courses for 8 years. All this time we have been improving and adapting the materials to current requirements of the job market. And thanks to this way, after completing the course, you will be ready to start your new profession, new job from the very beginning. You will be junior developer. So if you ask me about profession of a programmer, is I would say highly sought after and well-paid one on the market. So one of the most our popular courses is JavaScript. So Ben, can I ask you a question?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Why should people ask for JavaScript? Why they should learn this language of programming?
Okay, so thank you for asking for that. I think JavaScript is a great language to start programming because it's very universal. So we can use this language for many things. For example, to build the websites, very dynamic and responsive ones, but also we can create mobile applications. We can program our, I don't know, mechanical toys that we have in our house. We can program drones and stuff like that. So JavaScript is very universal language that will fit in very different situations. So I think that's the very good reason to learn this, learn this language.
Okay, so let's have some fun.
Yeah.
HTML CSS.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for introduction. So, okay, maybe I will introduce myself. Martha said something about me, but maybe I will tell something more. I'm Ben. I'm a lecturer in Coders Lab Academy. So I'm teaching people how to become a junior developer, how to be a front-end junior developer. I am also a programmer with 10 years of experience, so I created a lot of responsive and then dynamic websites and applications to many Polish and international companies. So today we will talk about a very nice and clean project, and we will talk about HTML and CSS. So let me, I will show you my screen and the presentation and whole application and workshop that we will be doing today. So today we are focusing on this workshop that is called Space Travels. And nowadays this topic is very, people talk about space travels, right? And not just talking, but they are actually going into space with very different companies that are providing this kind of trips around the globe. So we'll do this kind of landing page. So landing page is this kind of website that is supposed to promote some very specific thing. With this project, we are promoting the space travels, but other examples of landing pages are, for example, landing page of the newest iPhone or landing page for the newest Microsoft Surface or any other product that should be promoted, and these products need to have their own specific website. So, for example, if you go to apple.com, on the first site we can see the iPhone 13 Pro, and we can go there, and we have, this is the landing page of this phone, and exactly we will do exactly the same, but with some small part of it with a space travels. So this is the hint what is the landing page. But we will talk today about HTML and CSS of this web page. We will focus on these three sections. So the first section is with this heading title. We have this space travels white font. And, behind this text, we have the background with some galaxy, some stars on it. So we will talk about how to create this kind of section. Later, we will talk about this middle section that contains 3 columns, and these columns, every of this column will contain an image, some header, some paragraph with text, and a button that will link us to different article. And on the bottom, we can see the simple footer. So this is the last section of this web page, and this is just a black background with centered text with both axes, right? So with horizontal and vertical centering. And why this website is responsive? How to check that our that our website will work on all different devices? So we can just shrink our web browser, so to make this viewport of our website smaller. So if I do just like this, you can see that our boxes have been wrapped. So this third column just go under these two columns. But if I'm go more, these 3 columns that were in the previous state in one row, now are they in the one column because they have no space to fit in one row. So this kind of thing is we are calling that this is the responsive website. So this is some kind of elastic, dynamic design, dynamic layout of our websites that will fit in every device. Okay, so move on to the first chapter. We will begin to talk about the base HTML file construction. Okay, so in the world of front-end development, we have 3 main languages that we should know. First of them is HTML. So today we will talk a lot about this language. This is the core of the front end, and every front end programmer needs to know this language. Next one is the CSS. We will talk about the difference between these 2 languages, and we will focus only on these 2. And the third one is the JavaScript. So this is this language on the right. This language is used for creating websites more dynamic. Yes, so if we want to load some informations from other servers, for example, to read the weather from our location, or for example, show some tweets of this user from Twitter, we can do it by JavaScript. It creating a dynamic views of our websites. And for example, a lot of all of the frameworks that we are using in the front-end world, just like React, Angular, or Vue. There's this three more, the most used frameworks in the market are of course written in the JavaScript. So we have these three languages. Today we'll talk, like I said, only about CSS and HTML. About JavaScript you can know more from our courses. Okay, so how to create an HTML file, what this file should contain, how this file should be named. So this is what you can see in the middle of the screen, and this is the very basic and the shortest HTML file that we can create. This file contains some very specific lines, and you can see this tags and some names, some words that we are using here, but we'll talk about it in the next chapter. Okay, so we can go next. Okay, so every HTML file is created with a bunch of HTML tags. So we are calling a tag this kind of thing. So we have this bracket, we have this this kind of sign, we have this bracket, we have a letter or a word that is very specific. We cannot create our own tags. All tags are prepared, and we can read about them in the documentation of the HTML, and we'll also show you a few of them, the most used HTML tags. But every tag is created, we can say, in the same way. So we have this opening tag, right? This bracket, name of this tag. So this could be a letter or a word, and we have again the closing bracket. Next, between the opening and closing tag, we have this kind of we can type some text, or we can type some data that we can want to show to the user. That could be anything, right? That could be a text, that could be some kind of image, some numbers. What do you want we can show for our user? That can be some video, some audio track. That could be, like I said, everything. And if you have some text, for example, between these two tags, we have to remember that if we opened, for example, like here, we open the P tag that corresponds to a paragraph. So this is the tag of HTML that should contain some larger text. This shouldn't be just, for example, 2 words, but some piece of text. So if we open the P tag, we have to be sure that we also closed this P tag. So how to do that? We have also this bracket, and after this first bracket, this opening bracket, we have the slash. We have this slash sign, and then we repeat the name of an opening tag. So if we use P, we have to use P as well at the end of this text that we want to show for our user. And I think 90% of the HTML tags behave in the same way. So we have opening and the closing tag, and between these tags we can, like I said, type any text or numbers we want, and this will be shown to the user. This particular P tag is beside that. I mean, this P tag is should contain a bunch of text. Some piece of text is representing the text, and also he is giving some kind of space between the paragraphs. So if we have a few paragraphs in our website, each of them will be will have some space between these paragraphs. I can show you the example. I will open this kind of some kind of code pen, and you will see what I mean. So if we have this, here we'll have a HTML editor, and here on the right side we will see the result. So if we have, for example, some paragraph with text, this text is showing here on the right side, and we creating another paragraph with text. We can see these two paragraphs is showing here on the right side, and between these two we have some kind of we have some kind of space, right? Some kind of margin between these two elements. If we do not have these paragraphs, for example, I can remove them. You can see that we have here in HTML file, we separated these two paragraphs, but in the result, in the preview, the real world preview, this separation is not existing anymore. So this is very important in HTML to use tags everywhere and use the proper tags for some things that we want to create. So this is very, very important. Okay. But we have few tags that we are calling the empty tags. They don't have opening and closing. So, for example, this is the HR tag, BR, IMG, or for example, input. And these few tags does not contain anything inside them. So, for example, if we have these two paragraphs, and we want to separate them, not just with the white space like here, but with a line, for example. And we can create a line in HTML with HR tag. So just type in HR, and we have a line between these two tags. But as you can see, I do not close this HR. And this is not a mistake. HR tag is closing automatically, and we don't have to do something like this. This is just wrong. We don't do this because HR cannot contain any text inside. So if we type something inside the HR, it's not looking good, right? So we have this text just below the line, not on the top of it, or for example, on the center of this line. So this tag is not closing at all. So we just type in like this. Another tag, like we saw on this presentation, is BR. And tag BR is the tag responsible for breaking the line of the text. So for example, we want to break the line after this elite word. So after this full stop, we want to break the line and make this temporous word to be on the next line. And we can do this with this BR tag. So in this text, we are creating this bracket, BR, again the bracket, and we can see that this word is now rendered on this next line. So BR is for breaking the line. And we have a lot of other examples of this HTML tags that should not be closed. And this is, for example, IMG. We will use IMG tag later. Like you can, this tag is used for placing an image inside the HTML document. Okay. Next thing is the HTML document structure. So we have to follow some very strict rules to create our own HTML website and HTML file. the first thing that we should know is that HTML files are with HTML extension. So if we have, for example, PDF file, and this file is look like some name of this file, for example, invoice.pdf, right? So this file has some extension that is called PDF. And this is the same with HTML files. Every HTML file should have some name, and the very basic name of the HTML document is the index. This is how we call it. Then it's a .html. So our name of this file should look like index.html. That is the basic name, very generic name of the HTML file. So this is the first thing that we should know. Next thing is every single line of this file, and what type of lines we have to use. So first line that we have to type in the HTML file is the document declaration, and we cannot forget about it, because if we forget to declare what type of document we want to show to the browser can misunderstood what we want to show and not show our website in a proper way. So we have to type, again, we have this bracket, exclamation mark, doc type, space, we have the space here, and HTML, and we're closing a bracket. Nowadays, with the HTML version 5 that we are using, this document declaration is very short. But in the like we can read in this presentation, in previous HTML versions, we have very different declarations, and they were very complicated. But now we don't have to remember a very long lines of code, but because this is very short one. So again, brackets, exclamation mark, doc type, HTML. Next thing, the main tag that we're using in HTML is the HTML tag. It's just like that. We have all the rules of creating an HTML tag that we learned before. So we are creating a bracket, word HTML, closing a bracket, and then we are closing the whole tag with this slash and repeating this name of tag that we used previously. And between these two tags, we are putting all our page content. So we cannot create this HTML file without language declaration and without this HTML tag. This HTML tag also can contain some additional lang attribute, and we can just type the code and the language of website that we are building. So if we are building website for English customer that will be used in English, so we can create a lang attribute inside the HTML. So you can see that this closing bracket is here just behind the double quotes that we have here. And with this lang attribute, about attributes, we'll talk a little bit later, but this lang attribute is containing just the language. So we have en dash, and we have a code of country that this website will be used. With English language, we have a lot of countries that using this language. But for example, with Polish language, we are using this language only in Poland. So we have PL with capital letters with uppercase. Okay, so we have these two main things. We have doc type and we have HTML tag. Later, we have to create a head section. And this head section is located inside HTML tag. And we can, here in this head section, we can describe how to website should behave in different circumstances. So for example, we have to tell for the browser what type of encoding we are going to use. And the most popular, in the most cases, we are using UTF-8. And if you are using this kind of encoding, there is no worries that our text will show in the wrong way. So this is very important, for example, for country-specific characters. In Polish language, we have some of them. If we are not using UTF-8, our Polish-specific characters are not showing in the right way, and this is kind of wrong, right? So this is the first thing. We have to ensure that we have right encoding. Next thing is the title of the page. So the title we are creating with the title tag, and this title tag should be used only inside the head tag. So we can see that we are creating some kind of tree here, right? Because on the top we have HTML, next we have a head, and inside the head we have the title. And without this, without specifying this tag, this title tag, we are not able to change the title that is here on the top of our browser on this tab, right? So every browser is nowadays using tabs. So if we are not providing this title tag, our website or our browser will show here the address of our application, and this is not a recommended way, because if we have a lot of tabs opened on our browser, this is very confusing what type of application this actually is. So on this title tag, we want to show some title of our website, just like this, just our title. And this is very important for SEO. This is the crawling of the search engines. So if Google wants to show our website on the result page, Google needs to have this title tag. It's very important, and we don't want to pass over 65 characters on this tag. Okay, so now we have the first exercise to do. We want to change and insert title tag inside our website. So here on the right side, we have the exercise 1. We can open the page in a new tab. Okay, we can do it. Okay, and now we can see that the tab that was opened is containing the address of our website. Just like I said, we have HTTPS, gamma user codio.io and stuff like that. And we want to change that because our exercise is telling us that in index.html file in the head section, add title tag with the following content: space travels. We want to force for our website that this website will show on this tab space travels, not the address of this website, but this content. So here on the left side, we have this editor that we can see these all things that we talked about. So we have this doc type declaration, HTML tag, head tag, and just before the head tag is closing, we will create the title. So we are opening the brackets, title, closing the bracket, and this editor automatically added the closing tag for me. So this happens automatically, and in a lot of editors that is happening in an auto way. So we don't have to do it manually. And inside the opening and closing title, we are just typing space travels. And now we can go to this tab again, click refresh on the website, and now look on this tab above on the top of screen. we can see the space travels. That what we typed here in the title tags, we can see here on this tab. So our exercise is done. We have here on the right side expected result, and our result is the same like we can see on this solution. Okay, we have question on the chat. Does the order of the lines matter? What if you put title in the first place? It doesn't matter at all. So if we put title on the first line with this head section, because this is important. Important is that the title is in head section, but it's not relevant where we put it. So if we put here, and we go back to our website and refresh, it's still the same. So this is it's up to you where you gonna to put this title tag. Okay, thank you, Greg, for this question. Okay, so next. Okay, so we just talked about very basic things about HTML, about doc type, about the HTML tag, about head and title. But now we want to show something to our users, right? But because the title was the first thing that we are showing to users, but we want to show them some actually content, actual page, actual images, tables, data, and stuff like that. So where to put this all informations? We had head section for all information that will browser read for our website and not actually show to user. Informations in the head section are read by Google, by Facebook and stuff like that. But all the things that we can see on our website should be contained in body tags. So head and body should be the relatives, should be siblings, like we are saying here in the front-end world, that these two elements are siblings for each other, and all things that we want to show for our users should be in this body tag. And we can put there a lot of different things, but we have to group our elements, HTML elements, in the 3 groups. We can divide them in the 3 groups. We have inline elements, we have block elements, and inline block elements, and all of them are different from each other. So maybe now we will talk about inline elements. This group of elements, as the name is suggesting, are located in one line. So if we are using this particular tags in the HTML file, in these tags are, for example, strong, A, B, EM, or span. It doesn't matter if we put them in HTML file in this kind of positions, right? So there are one below each other, but in the preview of this HTML file, in the result, all of these words are in the one line. And this is because this is the specification of this particular tags. They are just showing in the one line because of the CSS property that is called display inline. And specification of this tag, we have this coded in the engine of the of the browser. So we have a lot of these inline tags. Like we said, this BR tag that we used on our example is again an inline tag. We have the, for example, span tag. This is very generic element without, like we can read without semantic meaning, but we are using this for building some kind of styling or some kind of layouts. But for example, a strong element, this is the element that is creating our text more visible for user, because like we can see here, for example, we can choose this very difficult and long word and contain this with inside the strong element. And look what the result is on the right side. Our word is bold, like we just used in the for example, Microsoft Word. We have this B function that we can click and the word is more visible, and this is the strong element inside HTML. And this is inline as well, and we can see that because inline elements are not creating any, how to say that, they're not creating any errors or some kind of mistakes inside the text. So if we are using inline elements, we don't have to worry that our word is going to be below whole text, right? So this word that is contained with this inline tag is just with in one line with whole text that we prepared. Okay, so we have the list of this HTML inline tags, and we are also redirecting you to the official documentation of HTML. It's very good to read this documentation. Is the MDN documentation, and here you can read all about all the different inline block and inline block elements that we can use in HTML. So this is a lot of information here we can find. Next group of elements are block elements. So by default, these elements are occupying the whole width of our website, so 100% of width, and are displayed starting from the new line, right? So every block element is going to be under the another one that is before. So this is a huge difference, right, between inline and block elements, and we have again a lot of block elements that we can use. Here, this div element is a very generic one, and like a span inside the previous presentation, like we said, it's not semantic. It's not semantic type of element, but it's just for layouts, for containing some other elements inside it. Other elements that are blocked, they are P elements, like we just used in our example. And we have, for example, some kind of lists. We have headers. These are elements from H1 to H6. We have H1, H2, H3, and so on. And H1 is the biggest heading, and H6 is the smallest one. And of course, you can find all the information about the block elements in the developer mozilla.org. All informations are there, and you can read more about this kind of elements. And we will use a few of them inside our project that we are creating. For example, we use the article tag. Like you can see, this article tag should be used for content of the article. We will use a div for build our layout. We'll use a footer to create a footer of our website or a section. We will use also a header element, and this is very similar to footer, but it's on the top of the section or the whole page. And also we will use a section element that will divide our website in a few smaller sections. We will have header, we we will have a middle section, and then we will have a footer. And the last type of and group of elements are the inline block elements. These elements are mixing these two types that we talked previously. It's inline and block in the same way. So if we have inline block element, this kind of elements can be shown one by one. So we can show them in a row, and this inline block elements can have the height attribute. So with this just inline elements, like we have, for example, this strong element, we are not able to put here the height of this element. The height of the element will be always the content that is inside this element. So if we have here a text, this strong will be this on this height that the text is. So this is, for example, 16 pixels. But with inline block elements, we can provide this height parameter, and we are using this type of display property to show the images that should be shown one by one, or for example for buttons, because on the buttons we want to create this kind of padding. So we want to move our text from the edges of the button and be sure that the width of our button will be the same or a little bit more of how much text is inside this button. Okay, so we have a second exercise on our webinar. Here we want to create the middle section. As we can see on the left side, we have created for us the header section. This is just, it's the HTML structure is done for us. We have the footer section, and we have prepared this middle section with a div inside and some comment that is saying that we want to insert some box here. And our box will contain the icon, title, content, and button. And we are going here to just prepare a basic HTML for a one box. We will insert that inside this div and this section on the left side. And our HTML structure of this thing is here. So we can just copy this, paste it on the left side, just to do some nesting. And we can open the website using this button on the top, open page in new tab. And now we have a black screen, right? And we cannot see the text that we created, but it is here. you can trust me that this text is on this website, but this text also is black. So in the next part of this webinar, we'll talk about the CSS, and then we create this text to be white. But now we have the first box created, and our box is done with the div element that is containing some part of information that we want to show to user. We have the img tag that will contain an image. You have h2 to just show some heading of this box. We have p, that is paragraph, and we have a, that will be a link that will redirect us to another website, another page. Yeah. Okay. Next thing on this HTML tags are the attributes. We saw previously that HTML tag can have this lang attribute, but we can use attributes in a lot of different HTML tags. And the main tag that we will use is the class tag. And this class attribute is very important to connect HTML with a CSS, and that we'll talk about later. So with this attribute that we are typing inside the tag and this opening tag, this is very important that we are putting our attributes inside the opening tag. So we have our tag that we choose. We have attribute with very specific name that we can also find in the documentation. We have then double quotes and value of this attribute. And the value of attribute of class attribute, it's up to us what we are use here, what kind of text we are put here, and we can do whatever we want. And we have a lot of different types of attributes. We have in the input element. Input element, it's a part of the forms. So if I can show you what type of this. We can have the input, and input is an element that you can type inside. So in every form, login or registration form, we can see this input tags, and they have, for example, a type attribute, and the value of this type attribute is, for example, text, number, email, password. And if we put here, for example, type password, value of this input will be masked. So we will see not text that we are typing, but just dots inside this input tag. Okay, and now we want to add some attributes to our elements, because we have prepared this first block, and we prepared the img tag, but we did not provide the path for our image that we want to show to our user. And for images, we want to add src attribute. And inside this attribute, in value, we will specify the path to the icon. So this is very important to show the browser where the browser can find our image that we want to show. So inside the img attribute tag, we are typing a space, src, and inside double quotes, we have to pass this path to the icon. And how we can find this path? So on the left side, we can see this tree with files, with some documents and folders. And we have this index.html file. And above this file, we have images folder. We can open this. And we can see that we have 3 different files inside. We have icon rocket, icon Saturn, and icon startup. And now we want to give the path for this specific PNG file. And if we are here in the index.html file, we want to show browser that our files are in the images / icon startup, because we have to go inside the folder, our directory, and then provide the name of the file, startup png. And if we show our website, we can see that our rocket is here. So we can see this rocket. This rocket is visible for us because it's white, and so we can see that on the black background. But our path to the image is correct. And next thing, we want to add old attribute, and this old attribute is describing what this image or icon that we are using is presenting. So we are adding the second attribute inside the img tag. So we are giving the space between this double quotes and the closing bracket, and typing alt, and in the double quotes we are just can type, for example, icon of rocket, starting rocket, for example. Okay, and these two attributes are required on the img file. We cannot miss any of them. And the second thing we want to add in this exercise is the link. We have the A element inside our HTML file, and we want to add href attribute, because if we creating just the A element, we want to give the opportunity to our user to click this link and to be redirected to another website. So we are do something like this. Inside the A tag, we are giving a space, and exactly the same like in the img, and we are using href, and in the double quotes we can pass any of the link URL that we have. So for example, HTTPS // and we can, for example, type bbc.uk, co.uk, right? It's like something like this. And if we go to our website and refresh, we can see that our link is now blue because the default settings of CSS are creating our all links blue. And if we click on this link, we are redirected to the BBC website. We can go back and click again, and again we are redirected. So our links are working okay. Our image is showing in a proper way. So our result is done, right? Our exercise is done. Okay, so now let's talk about CSS. So we just prepared here on the third exercise. We prepared the I can say the whole structure of our website, right? We have a data, we have images, we have links, but this website is not looking like this previous one that I showed you on the first slide of this presentation. So the CSS language now will tell the browser how to paint our structure, how to place things on our screens, on our displays, because we have a lot of displays, a lot of screen sizes, and we want to every single one our website will look okay. We want to be sure about that. So what CSS is looking like? So maybe we'll start about this how to create a CSS file, and we talked about the HTML files, that they have this extension .html, and the same thing is with CSS files, but this basic CSS file we are calling style.css, and this is the file that we want to create to be able to write a CSS language. So CSS is created with few different rules that we have to follow. So first thing is the selector. The selector, it's the element that we want to style on our website, right? So if we have the paragraphs of our website and we want them to be read in CSS, we have to type P. Then we have this curly brackets. So opening and closing curly brackets. We can hit enter when we have this opening and closing one, we can hit enter to be more to create this code more visible to us. And then we can give some properties and property values. So CSS is created with a bunch of properties that we can use for colors, borders, backgrounds, margins, paddings, and a lot of stuff, some shadows. But every property should have some value, right? So we have the pair of property and the value of this property. And if we, for example, just type this, what we have what we have here, color red, and semicolon on this at the end of every line, and we have all our text in the red color. If we change this from red, for example, to blue, all our text that is in paragraph will be blue. So if I will create an element that is not inside the paragraph, for example, inside the div, that will be not blue, right? Because div is not the paragraph, but we here in the CSS selector just choose this P tag. So this is very important. We can choose whatever we want on the website to behave like we just said here. Okay, so to sum up this topic, we have selector, so we can choose whatever we want on our website. We have these curly brackets, and inside the curly brackets we have a property with a value, and at the end of this line we have to have this semicolon, because if we forget about the semicolon, our code will not work. Okay, now it's Codio is back. So if we, for example, provide this kind of text, with this kind of CSS code to our browser, every paragraph that we typed in HTML file will have red color, font size set to 20 pixels, so we have larger text, and we have border 2 pixels width, solid style, and blue color. And we have this result here below this example. But if we just want to use only the elements of HTML to style everything of our websites, that very quickly became a problem, because what if we want to style in different way this first paragraph and in the different way the second one? For example, this one should be red and this one should be blue. What can we do about this? If we just using the element selector, we cannot do anything, because we are choosing here all the paragraphs in the website. But we have other options. We can use, for example, classes. And now we are talking about them. Classes are the type of the selectors that can provide more specific information what we want to style. And name of the class, we can create whatever we want. The name is up to us, but the name cannot contain the space, right? So the name can be some kind of words, but they have to be together. But in a lot of situations we are using just the one word to create a class. But it's very important when we're creating this kind of class inside a CSS, that should be followed with dot. So dot inside the CSS is meaning that we're creating a class. And this class, if we create this, it's not affecting our code in any way. So, for example, if I just paste it here on our CSS file inside the code pen, you can see that there's no difference, right? We have all black text and nothing happened. And I have to choose specifically what elements will have this content class that I just created. And we have this example here that we have to provide the class attribute to every element inside in every element that we want to just use the class that we just have written. So, for example, if I have this content class here, and I want to this second paragraph to follow all the rules I have inside this class, I can type in the paragraph space class and content without a dot. This is very important that we are not using a dot here anymore. Dot is only in the CSS, but in the HTML we are using the class attribute, and this and now we are connecting the classes from the HTML with classes in the CSS. Okay, we have a question from Jessica in our chat. What if you want to use less standardized colors? Do I have to know all their names, or can I choose from somewhere? Oh, this is the great question. Yeah. Okay, yes. So if we're talking about the colors in CSS, we have great list of colors that we can use, but and you can use, of course, the keywords like blue, tomato, and we have this kind of color, or my favorite is corn flower blue. It's very nice blue. But if we want to choose very specific color, we can use a function that is called RGB. And function RGB is function that is mixing the three main colors, red, green, and blue. And we have to provide I can say the power of every color. So for example, if I want a red color, I have to type 255. This is the max value of the red color, comma 0, comma 0. This is the lowest power of color. So now we have red color. But if I, for example, go up with this green color, for example, 150, 125, and now we can see that we have orange color. And if we go more with the blue one, for example, 55, no, there is no much difference, but for example, 200, maybe. Okay, yes. And now is this some kind of pink, some kind of pinkish color. I hope I answered your question how you expected. Okay, and the last thing about classes is that we can use the same class in the different elements. So let's go back to our example, and we have this paragraph with class content, but we can use this class with this content class on any different element. For example, we can use this with section content, and here we can create another part of text, and this section will look exactly the same as our paragraph that we insert before. We are using only one class with very different elements. Here is a paragraph, here is a section. So this is very nice feature of classes, of CSS classes. Okay, so we have our fourth exercise. Now our website is looking like this, and now we want to create some CSS. As you can see, we can't see the text, all the text that is here. Oh, sorry, all the text that is here inside our boxes. So now we want to, in style file, style.css, we want to insert a color inside the body. Here we have the comment, and here we are going to type color, hashtag FFF. And this is other type, this is the other way to create a color with hex value. And now we can see that our text is showing, right? Our text is showing, and we can see the white text. Okay, and this is the one thing what we had to do in our website. But now we want to add some classes to our HTML sections. So now we want to create a container class to every direct div inside header, section, and footer. And you can see that in header we have a div, in section we have a div, and in footer as well. And every of these div should contain class container. So just type this class container, and footer also class container. And this is not just some kind of magic class that will work automatically, because we this class described here in the CSS before. And this class will be responsible for fitting our website inside some very specific width. This is 930 pixels, and to center our page on the screen. And you can see that our website, we have a background, and our space travels are now centered, and our box here is centered as well. So well done, we did it. And now we want to go to our 3 columns that now we have only one. To section that is containing all our columns, we want to add class boxes. So inside the section in 20 line, line number 20, we want to add class boxes. Yes. Now we want to add class box to div containing elements from our column, right? So we have class boxes here. Here is a container that is creating this this kind of box, right? And now we want to create a class box inside. Okay. For the H2 element, we want to add the box title class, H2 class box title. And for a paragraph, this is the class box content, yes. And for a element, we are going to add class box btn. Okay, so now let's check the result of these classes, what they've done to our website. Okay, great. Now our box is in the middle of the screen, has some text, is centered, showed in the column way. And this is all because using these classes that are, of course, prepared here in our CSS file, right? So we prepared this a bunch of styles, and using our CSS classes, we just connected CSS with HTML. Great, and our result is now correct. Okay, and we are moving to the last part of our webinar, last exercise and last topic. This is the Flexbox. Flexbox is the some kind of technology inside CSS that is providing us and that is providing some kind of flexibility to all the elements that we have inside our HTML file. So with a flexbox, we can manipulate our elements inside our layouts the way we want, right? So on our website, we are going to put 2 more columns beside this one. So we want to show them in a one row. But we talked about block elements, right? And we saw that I can move back. Oh, sorry. No, give me a second. Yes, we can move back. Here is the this arrow. We can see that the box that we created, right, that is containing only one column, is a div element. And we said previously that div elements are block elements, and they have very specific style that if we just copy this box again and again, it will not show one by one, but one after each other. So that next column will be below the previous one. So we want to use a flex to do how we want to do it. So this is if we have container with elements that are divs, the default behavior of these elements that are aligned one under another. But if we provide display flex on container class, so the parent of these two or these three, these elements are now aligned next to each other, right? So this is the thing that we want to achieve in our project, that our elements will be aligned next to each other. And what we can say about Flexbox, it's that it's containing a lot of different properties that we can use. For example, this is very nice one. For example, justify content. With this property, we can say to elements that we have on our website that should be centered inside of width of our parent that they are inside. So this is very good property that we can use. Justify content center, and our elements will be centered. The second one for centering, but in the different axes, is align items. And here we have example for align items center. And now our elements are centered, but in a vertical way. So justify content is for horizontal way in a default behavior of Flex, but align items is for this vertical one. Okay, and now we have the last thing that we want to do. Okay, so we don't have a class container here in the 15th line. So we just type it, container. And now we want to add more boxes to our website. Okay, we have just one box, and we want to copy this box and paste it 2 times. And now we should have 3 boxes. Each and every box is next to each other. Oh, now it's okay. But the exercise is saying that we have to change the alt and src of our images, because we want to use all images that we have here. We just use the startup, but we have also the rocket and Saturn Okay, it was a bit, we can change the alt for a Saturn icon, rocket icon, and rocket startup icon. Okay, let's see how it looks like, and it looks great. And this all is just done with the Flexbox. We can see here on the CSS file that inside I have to find it. Yes, here it is. Boxes container. And the container inside the section of boxes is display flex. We have display flex. We have centered this in a vertical and in the horizontal way. And now our project is now is done, and we can show our friends how we created a responsive website. Because if we just open or maybe shrink our window of our browser, you can see that our website is responsive, right? And we can see that all elements are still visible, despite the fact our display is very, very narrow. And yes, that's all from me. Thank you very much. And I'm giving back my voice to the Martha.
Hello, once again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can't
Okay, and I can see you.
Once again. Okay, so let me have a few final words for our school and our courses. Did you like this workshop with Ben? Okay, so I would like to say that our courses are really professional courses. These courses are truly dedicated to the market. So everything, really useful, thank you, Greg. Everything which you have in our program, very interesting, thank you. Everything which you can see in our programs of our courses, these are the needs of the job market. So if you want to start a new profession, you can easily do our course from the very beginning. We teach, the idea of our school is to teach from very beginning to the junior developer level. So after the webinar, we can talk about it more by email, by phone, for example. If you will have any questions now, you can ask me now. But maybe I will tell something about our modes. We've got weekend online modes for our courses. So you've got Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second weekend of the month. So the course lasts for 7 months, and these workshops are in real time. These lessons are not recorded. Anything else? Maybe it will be important for you that we have one big project to your portfolio after the graduating the course. So you can put it on your GitHub and looking for the job during the course and after the course. And please don't forget about your own work during the course. You've got every second weekend of the month, and these are workshops. And then you have to have your private, then are you the teacher at these courses?
Sorry, again, I didn't hear you.
Are you the teacher at these courses?
Yes, I am. Oh, this is a question on the chat. Okay, yes, I am the teacher of these courses. Yes, I am. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Only, yeah, it is. Only weekend online mode. And do you prefer daily mode, Greg? No, this is for you. This one is for you. Why not to use a template of a website instead of coding it?
Okay, so we don't have templates for everything, right? So we sometimes have problems to solve that cannot be solved with any template that we can buy on the internet. But of course, sometimes we are using templates or some boilerplates for starting the project. But later on, we can see that this very universal templates, we have to put a lot of work to change how they are look, how to fit of our needs. So templates are good for the beginners, I think, or for people that don't want to spend a lot of money to create a project or application. But in the real world of creating an apps, we have to provide the applications that are created just by some team, are not bought on some website and templates.
Next question, how long is the course? The course lasts for 7 months. Short question, short answer. Yeah, it is well. So you can make a new profession in 7 months only. Amazing. Okay. I think it's time to end our webinar. Ben, what is your opinion?
Yeah, yes, I agree. I think we answered all the questions. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the meeting. It was nice to not see you, but read you. I think maybe we will meet next time. I hope so. So thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting this, Martha.
Thank you, Shuban. It was amazing to see you again doing your lessons. Okay. Thank you very much.